They've finally returned.
Spiky Bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Bear from SpikyBits.com, and we are going to unbox and build some of the brand new Soulblight Gravelords units. Now, probably one of the most famous units out there, and perhaps one of the oldest ones, besides the characters, are the Blood Knights. And a lot of folks really like this kit, so I thought it would be great to unbox and build this particular one here. Now, I had to drive a couple hours to pick these kits up because stuff's so allocated. You know, it's hard to find stores that actually had these in stock, and everybody's building armies, so I was very thankful for that. I love driving, by the way. No big deal there. I get to clear my head. So they're $60 US this week. You can always get your hobbies for less at dicehead.com, Amazon, or your local game store, of course. But again, things are really hard to find, so you kind of just got to get stuff where you get stuff. This unit here, it's an exciting time for a lot of folks that are really into vampires and stuff, because this used to be available in pewter way back in the day, and I think the Blood Knights started out about $75 for the kit once they came out. They redid them in pewter, and that quickly went up to, with GW's price hikes in the early 2010s, to be a $99 kit. It got converted over to Finecast. I don't think as many people bought them, you know, and then shortly after all that, you know, Age of Sigmar became a thing, and fantasy was by the wayside, and there was no more vampire counts. But now we got vampire counts, Soulblight Gravelords, which are basically vampire counts minus the black coach, I suppose, because there is, spoiler alert, no black coach in that codex, which is kind of sad, because that was like one of the original units they came out with for them back in like 1999, I think. And it's just a cool kit. It was cool then. It's definitely cool now. I think we did an unbox and build on it as well. But today it's all about the vampires, baby. This is wave 1 of the vampires. So let's take a closer look inside. So once we get this open, they're actually, I mean, it's pretty stout sprues in here. So you get 5 of these cavalry bases. I don't even know how big they are, but I'm sure the instruction manual will tell us. Nope, they won't tell us. Oh, we get nothing. 75mm oval. There it is. And let's see, are these single, the same? 3 different, they are 3 different sprues? Yes, no, yes, yes. They are 3 different sprues. So that's pretty cool. So they spared basically no expense making this right here. So let's check out the instructions and see what we can glean from this. I suppose since I haven't read the codex or the battle tome yet, that we should probably figure out what the heck they can be armed with. So it looks like they can be armed with the Templar, like that Templar lance or blade, hooves and teeth on the mount. Champion called the Castellan can be also armed with a lance or blade. Okay, cool. So I guess it doesn't matter if you give them a lance or a blade. You can model them however, and I think there's options for both in here. So that's kind of cool to see. So there's the Castellan, and he has a mace. There wasn't anything about a blade in there, but whatever. It's a pretty dope looking mace. Or the Blood Knight with lance right there. So it looks like there are going to be 5 different individual figures, and then they're just kind of like, hey, get the weapon option here. Those contact points look a little fiddly just looking at that, and it looks like you get an armored helmet or a bare head helmet. And you got some fiddly stuff that goes on with the shoulder pads right here. That's interesting, okay. And left and right halves. Now, some of you folks that are watching this that might remember the old horsey design. You know, it was a left and right half, and then you would have to attach the tail to the back. It kind of stuck out, and it could spin like a propeller. Those were the days. None of that right now. It looks like just a straight left and right half. And you know what? I didn't look to see if these are easier to build. Nope, there's no contact points, no nubs, no slots, no recesses. So you're just going to have to straight glue it and trim your mold lines down and such. And then you got the shield right here. It looks like it goes together pretty straightforward. This is the standard. And it looks like that bit was embossed. So I love it when I love it when they emboss the bits. Like, you get all that sweet detail in there and you don't have to do any freehand on it. It's almost like painting by numbers. I love it. And then you got the third one, which looks pretty straightforward. A lot of the same. Just there's a little prancy slash war striding horsey leg right there. And this one, very similar, left and right half with another leg out in front, just to give you that dope-ass posing. So there's lots of different variants to their strides, which is really cool to see. And then they give you a close-up of the standard right here, which is really cool, and the mace. Oh, and they got barding on them too. So they're definitely a heavy cavalry kind of type deal, which is kind of what we already knew. They move 10, they pass through models as long as they can go all the way through them, and I think they cause mortals too, which is really neat to see. So let's take a closer look at the sprues now that we got the assembly out of the way. I'm not seeing any gotchas quite yet, but we all know that doesn't quite mean there isn't any gotchas. It just means, well, we haven't quite seen any. And I wonder if I could get this closer to the camera here. And if it would be, yeah, there we go. A little bit better lighting, so you can see the embossedness right there. Everything looks super crisp, and it's on a plane, so you are gonna have to kind of do some sprue flash removal, I suppose. There's the barding on the sides. You got a big ass lance right there. These are really fiddly little swords, but there's no lack of detail on them. That's for sure. I really like that mace. It's just maybe it kind of looks like Sauron's mace. It definitely looks like Sauron's chandelier mace thingy from the last movie. And more war horses here, and you got the sabers, you got the lances, and all the crazy heavy barding. Lots of cool chainmail down in there, and then of course it was some sort of ethereal armor that's, you know, it has seen, there's like some pitting, so you know it's kind of seen a little bit of test of time, because obviously these are very, very old vampires. But you can do a little bit of rust or some verdigris or whatever they call it, in there if you really wanted to kind of pop it off and get that dope weathering in there. And you know, it's lots of ethereal designs here. I think, does all of them have faces? Yeah, it looks like all of them have faces. So maybe that's just the right and left kind of half of the face coming together right there. And then there's all sorts of, like, check out these helmets. Like, these helmets are pretty cool too. So I'm really digging these so far. So far, liking the sprues, liking the models, liking the assembly, liking the faction. Just no black coach. And poof, everything comes into focus. All right, so I want to lead off with this because it's probably the most striking and dynamic besides the Castellan model. It's just a very, very cool model in general with, like I said, all of that embossed detail right there. I guess we could zoom in on that, but it's the lance is so high. I wanted to kind of show the whole thing there. So it's a very cool striding pose right here. Now, one thing that is not quite as evident in this is that, you know, when you go to grab these, you're gonna grab it, well, I don't know, I guess I grab it by the thighs back here, but when you're gonna grab these, you're probably gonna go like this a lot of times, and you're probably gonna grab the shield with your thumb. And what I'm worried about is this seems pretty sturdy with, you know, if you balance it against the mount or the barding right there itself. But I'm wondering about some of these other ones that are kind of out in the open, so to speak. Like, I would just be very careful when you grab the stuff, maybe try to go low on it, and not, you know, grab that shield right there. But very, very striking model. You know, definitely has some you know, otherworldly poise to it, I guess. Perhaps like some spooky, mysterious, older than dirt sort of thing. And then here's another one with the blade. Let's zoom in on that. So here's the blade version, which, you know, you can actually mix and match them because the weapons do the same exact thing, so don't feel like pigeonholed into, oh, I need all my lances. There's actually, once you get these clipped down, there's not a lot of extra bits in the sprue, so you could easily clip out the rest of the bits if you ever wanted to go back and change it. But very, very striking, like full stride right here, you know, only one contact point. And again, you know, this is a little stronger because it's onto the barding, but it's very striking. And there's the open bare head of a vampire. Kind of looks a little tore up, maybe in the middle of regenerating some face. Definitely has a stupid face, but some of the other vampire heads are very, very cool looking too. I'm gonna save the Castellan for last, forgive me. And here's another one with lance, and this one is getting it, riding right in, following, you know, lock it on, following the lance onto the target right there. And you can see the shields are definitely glued it down so it would be more stable and kind of touching right there. You got the reins, you got kind of touching the barding, so it's a little bit stronger. And all these parts right here are pretty strong, so I don't think you'll bust them off or anything. Lots of room to do some. So like I said, do some dingy cloth robe sort of effects and things, and do some weathering on the pitting and the armor, which is kind of down low, but everything up top could be nice and shiny and gleaming. And do some like blood spray if you really wanted to, or just kind of edge highlight it, you know, with some reds and and things like the traditional blood knights if you really wanted to. And then here's the last lance. It's got a little ribbon on top, very cool. And I like the full helmet right there. It's very, very crisp and very dynamic. I think me personally, I would want all lances, and I would probably have all these helms right here and have like different paint those different for like the squads or something like that. Just an idea. And then the Castellan, I think, is the coolest one with that big mace, a very dynamic kind of champion upgrade sword, a very dynamic mount as well. You definitely tell there's something going on, something spooky and undead and unsettling about this model and its posing. And look at that helmet right there, very, very cool. So lots going on with this one. I think overall this, I mean, obviously it's there's no contest when it comes to the sculpts compared to the older ones for the Blood Knights, that's for sure. Oh, hey, and before I forget, let's compare this to a Stormcast so we can tell exactly how tall they are. So there's a Stormcast. There's a Blood Knight. I can't tell which gender it is. It looks like a male. It's hard to tell sometimes with the armor and everything. But yeah, they're definitely going to tower over most, well, not Stormcast armies. I mean, even the Stormcast looks pretty small compared to this ginormous knight. So definitely on par. I wish I had a Vanguard here to compare them to, because they're definitely very close to Vanguard height. I think they're on the same basis for sure, but I haven't seen one of those in a while. But very, very cool and super impressive at the same time. So it looks like the Soulblight Gravelords are off to a great start. Really, the only stumbling block is sourcing all the stuff you might need for your army. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching our unboxing build of the legendary Blood Knights, now reborn in plastic for the very first time. Just a really cool epic unit that I think a lot of fans will definitely appreciate coming back into the fold. And there's no shortage of bits either, so if you want to have 2 units of these, you can definitely make them look different enough, you know, between all of the head options and things like that, and even, you know, some of the weapon options there. So remember, you can always get your hobbies for less from dicehead.com, Amazon, your local game store. But right now, it's kind of everybody for themselves, I guess, these days with the way things are. So that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our videos.